All right, good morning, everybody, and happy October 12th. I will call this meeting to order at 9:04 a.m. and turn things over to our secretary, Mr. David Guetta, for a roll call.
All right, good morning, everyone. And I will begin roll call. Staff senators, please indicate your attendance by stating aye in the Zoom chat. Yesenia Carter.
Aye.
Veronica Villarreal. Van Slusser. Travis McAlpine. Timothy Odoms. Rolando Segovia. Omar Nedzelski. Monica Granado. Melba Cantu. Melanie Garza. Myra Garcia. Maribel Mata. Leslie Orozco. Crystal Chappell. Kelly Quinn. Kayla Bunteo. Jeremy San Miguel. Jeanette Garcia. James Martinez. Jake Gonzalez. Mireya Torres. Dina Lopez. Dina Guerra. Cristina Rodriguez. Cristina De Leon. Claudia Garcia. Oliver Lozano. Madam President, roll call is complete. We have met quorum.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to our Staff Senate General Meeting for October 2023. It is wonderful for you to be here with us today. I am sure everybody is super excited about the cool 80 to 70-degree weather that has finally arrived to the Valley. We will begin our meeting with new business. Is there a motion on the floor to approve the meeting minutes for February, July, and August of 2023? Or, I'm sorry, September.
I move to approve the meeting minutes for February, July, and August 2023.
Is there a second?
I
I
second.
All those in favor, please state aye in the Zoom chat. All opposed? Any abstentions? The meeting minutes for February, July, and September have been approved. Today, for our first guest speaker of today, we have the UTRGV State Employee Charitable Campaign, Ms. Nina Barrientos and Crystal Marroquin.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Am I able to share my screen?
Yes, we'll give you co-host abilities. Yadi, I think you have the ability to give her co-host abilities.
Go ahead and try now.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Do you see the slide or do you see presentation?
We see the presentation. It's
Okay.
The little
It's
heart.
not my presenter slides, right? Okay. Okay, great. Not a problem. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Nina Barrientos. I am the Employee Engagement and Wellness Coordinator here at the university. My colleague, Ms. Crystal Marroquin, was unable to join us today. She is actually at a conference. And if anything, the conference is in Vegas. So I'm really jealous of her right now, but also very happy for her as well. So thank you so much, Staff Senate, for having me today. I promise not to take up too much of today's agenda. So I am here to introduce to you our State Employee Charitable Campaign. Our campaign kicked off on October 1st, and it runs through October 31st. For those that don't know what the campaign is, so SECC for short, it is the only statutorily authorized workplace campaign for state agency and higher education employees throughout Texas. So last year in 2022, the campaign raised more than $4.8 million for charitable organizations throughout the state, the nation, and actually the entire world. Here in the Rio Grande Valley, our local campaign raised $118,000. Here at UTRGV, you can see here that we raised a little bit more than almost a third of that amount, and we raised $38,807 with a total of 137 donors. So we are very, very proud of that. We actually received an award for being the largest contribution agency here in higher education. So thank you all so much for your contributions and for your support. For this year in 2023, our goal, the local SECC goal is 140, but here at the university, we want to increase our goal, right? We always want to do better than we did before because our money does make a contribution. And so our goal this year as an institution is $40,000. You may be thinking, what will your gift provide? Where does it go? So there's two different options for contribution. There's the most common, which is payroll deduction, and then there's a one-time gift. Regardless of however you gift, your money goes 100% to the charity that you select. So this is going to be an example if you were to do a payroll deduction, and the payroll is for 1 year. And so it starts on January 1st and then runs through December, okay? So you make your campaign this month, but you won't start seeing that money taken out of your paycheck until January. Just wanted to give you guys that notice. So these are examples if you were to contribute monthly. There's a $2, $5, $10, $20, and $45. As you can see here, no amount is too small. Okay, just $2 alone per month can provide a child with a complete basic child immunization against 6 diseases, supporting a healthy start, as well as an additional resources available to families. We do have some tokens of appreciation that the campaign gives out to those who contribute. Of course, there has to be like a criteria, right? So if you do a minimum of $10 per pay period, so monthly, you receive a really nice phone holder and a pencil. And then as it increases, of course, your tokens increase a little bit more. We also have our RGV Star Club member that gives a minimum of $50 per pay period. You just get everything that's included here on this photo. And the tote bags are really nice. You know, nowadays, a lot of our stadiums require clear bags. So you don't need to go out and buy one if you don't have one. Just contribute and you're going to be given one already with your tokens. Here on our website, our UTRGV SECC website, I wanted to put the link in the chat but since I'm sharing, I have a little limited access, but I'll do it as soon as we hang up or as soon as I'm done. So here on our website, you're going to get information on SECC as well as resources. So some of those resources come from SECC directly, which you'll see towards the lower bottom. And then you'll see some important links like our directories to the charities, as well as a contribution form. Thank you so much for putting the link in the chat. I really appreciate it. So taking a look at the charity directories, these are all approved charities by SECC. So organizations need to apply and then they're reviewed and then they're approved. So if you happen to be taking a look at the directory and you don't see one that may have been there the year before, like if you're a recurring contributor, it is like there's different reasons for that. It's either they didn't apply or maybe they didn't meet their criteria, but then it doesn't mean that there's not another organization that you can contribute to, or maybe there doesn't mean they won't be there again next year, okay? On our website, we have the links to directories. I'll also share the PowerPoint presentation with you guys as well. So we'll also have QR codes if you want to click on the QR code as well. You can also do that already with your cell phone. So reviewing the directories, you'll see a designation code and the charity name in the mini directory. When you look at the full directory, you'll get additional information like the description of services, On both directories, you'll see a percentage, a number that is listed right next to it. That percentage is the percentage of administrative cost that goes towards that specific organization. Okay, you'll notice that some may be higher than others, and there's various reasons for that. It could be maybe it's a higher or much larger organization. So when you're thinking of a charity to contribute to, there's many things to think about, right? It's like, well, let's say perhaps you've never contributed before, you're not too sure where to even start. Maybe start local, okay? Maybe start with something that has a personal connection to you. Maybe an organization that your family maybe utilized at one time, or someone in your family utilized at one time, or maybe your kids are in the Boys and Girls Club, or there's something here, or maybe there's something broader, right? Something more statewide, okay? This listing has local, state, and national organizations that you can contribute to, and there is a various and large amount of them. And remember, no dollar amount is too small, okay? So when you're donating to the organization and you see that percentage, don't fray away, okay? Because that's going to go to the administrative cost for that organization. So in a way, if you think about it, you're also helping pay somebody's salary, someone who is working for that organization that is contributing and providing resources to our community. So how do you contribute? We have pledge forms. We have a contribution form. The form is online on our website. It is a fillable form that you will sign via DocuSign. These are just some important things to remember when you're filling out your form. On our website, you'll also find a how-to guide. So in case you don't get this presentation, or maybe this comes off a little confusing, we do have a step-by-step guide on how to complete your form with some important tips for you. So we only allow one pledge form per donor. Each section has to be completed. Information has to be legible. So if you need to perhaps print the form and then email it, just make sure that when you either type it out or you handwrite it, that it is legible. Minimum donation per charity is $2. Remember that. Our charity codes are 6 digits. Some do start with zeros, so please include those zeros. And then make sure that you're using this year's directory, okay? Go to our website. That's where you're gonna find the direct resources. Don't rely too much on Google, because you can pull up last year's, and sometimes the charity codes change, or like I said, maybe the organization is not listed this year. So always rely on this year's 2023, okay? You do have a choice up to 9 charities, and the 2 options for contribution are payroll and one-time. If you do payroll deduction, you must designate the charities that you want that money to go to. This is what the DocuSign form looks like. And then it's very simple. It has the calculations are already in there when you put in dollar amount, so it helps to add up your contribution. And just real briefly, I'm going to go through each section. So section 1 is going to be your personal information here. Okay, there are some required forms. You're also going to acknowledge if you want to be recognized for your contribution or you don't want to be acknowledged. And this is going to be recognition by SECC directly, okay, not by the university. This is by SECC. So you can opt out, you can say yes, you want to be recognized via email or mail. I don't know the specifics of the recognition. I do know that there are tiers in regards to how much you donate. And if you hit a certain tier, which is like $1,000 plus, there is that possibility for your name to be in next year's charity directory as a thank you. So this is where you can acknowledge if you want to be anonymous or you do want to be acknowledged, okay? This is where you're going to write down how you wish to contribute, okay? So again, $2 minimum per organization. There are 3 different boxes or like subcategories. it is important that when you're listing your charities that you group them together. And this is a good example here. So if you have a charity that starts with 27 and then 15, those need to be listed in different subcategories because those charity codes are grouped. They're grouped by local, state, and national. And so it's really important to keep those together. So when SECC is there reviewing the forms and sending the payments off, that it's all organized effectively. Again, your payment options are payroll deduction and one time. When you start to enter the dollar amounts in the top section, the total gift amount will automatically be calculated here. And then it's going to be times your pay period of 12 months. And then the total annual amount is then going to be calculated. Okay, it's going to be totaled. Now, if you happen to be an individual or work with an individual like a faculty member who's on a 9-month pay period, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to print the form and they're going to have to manually fix that part or email SECC for a different fillable form that we could go ahead and send to you so they can fill that out. Okay, then you're going to sign your form. I see there's things in the chat. Okay, making sure they weren't for me, sorry. If you do a one-time gift donation, perfectly fine. We do accept cash or check. What you'll do is you'll fill out your form. If you do DocuSign, it'll automatically come to our SECC department website. If you print it out, you would need to manually email it to us. And then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to visit our Brewster's office and you're going to go to payments and collections and you're going to make your payment. Okay. You can visit an office either in Brownsville or Edinburgh. I don't have their hours on here, but we can go ahead and get you a list to that, or you can give them a call for their office hours. Once you make that payment, you will then need to send a copy of the receipt to our department. But if you forget, that's okay. We'll continue to follow up with you, but your payment does need to be placed in before October 31st because we can no longer take any payments or contributions after October 31st. If you have any questions or know anyone that has any questions or you want additional information, you can either visit our website or you can contact us directly. Me, Nina Barrientos, and then Crystal Marroquin. We're also available to present at your department. So if you have a department meeting and you want to share information with them, invite us. You know, we can go in person, we can do Zoom. We will make ourselves available to you in any way or any form that we can, because we want to help, spread this awareness out and be available for any questions. Are there any questions at this time?
There is one question in the chat, and it is, if you know why Loaves and Fishes is no longer a charity option for the RGV. I noticed that a lot of orgs are now under United Way.
I do not know the specifics to that. As I mentioned earlier, there is like a process for them. It could also be something internal through the organizations to where they're rerouting and maybe they fall under a different organization now. I don't work with SECC directly, so I don't know those specifics. I'm just making some assumptions. But United Way is a great organization that covers a lot of different charities. And so I can try to get some information for you, or you can reach out to SECC directly if you're just really unsure and have questions. Our rep, Sabrina Lopez, she's just amazing. But I will try to get an answer to you, Esmeralda, and then see what I could find, okay? Let me just do a little snippet so I can make a note.
Thank you, Nina. Is there any other questions for Ms. Nina?
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for having me. Please feel free to reach out to me Thank you, Julia, for putting the Brewster's office hours on there for me. I really love the Staff Senate because everyone is just a team player. I love it so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be on the line, so if you have any questions, you can send me a chat message.
Alrighty, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alrighty, for up next, we have our employee relations team from HR. We welcome Aubrey Murray, Ernesto Gonzalez, Hector Guerrero, Deborah Torres, and Swelke McCall.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So Ernesto's going to go ahead, and I hope everybody's having a good day today. So Ernesto is going to go ahead and share his screen. He's our leave administration representative for UTRGV. He wants to just share with you all some information when it comes to leave, different leave types, answer any questions that you all may have, and then, you know, just kind of follow up if anybody has maybe more detailed questions. We can cover those too. We can even do department presentations if you all would like. But he just kind of wanted to make everybody aware of, you know, where you can find our policies and what kind of leave policies that we have. Ernie, are you on?
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can share my screen. Let me know if you guys can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
All right. So good morning, everyone. Like I mentioned, we're gonna have a quick refresher just of our leave policies and, you know, some guidance for you all. And then, you know, we'll save some time at the end if anyone has any questions. Before we get started, I'd just like to point out our departmental email address, leave@utrgv.edu. If anyone has any specific questions, concerns, or, you know, they want to reach out and, you know, have a discussion or set up a meeting, you know, feel free to send us an email. This is a team. We have Aubrey, Hector, Deborah, Swelke, and myself. So again, if you have any questions and would like to reach out to us directly, please, you know, feel free to send an email. All right. So our policies. So here we have 4 of our main leave policies. We have annual leave, which is also known as vacation. We have sick leave. We have family medical leave, which we know as FMLA, and we have sick leave pool. So what do we know about vacation leave or annual leave? We know that, of course, employees need to complete 6 months of continuous state employment before they can use their accrued vacation. Now, during those 6 months, the employees, they still accrue. So you're still going to be accruing your vacation every month. You're just not going to be able to use it until you complete that requirement where you have 6 continuous months. Now, this requirement does not need to be met at UTRGV. If you have an employee that transferred from another state institution, they may have already met that requirement. Or if you have an employee that transferred from one department to another, again, they may have already met that requirement and they may be eligible to use their vacation. Now, for probationary period purposes, I mean, that may still apply, but for vacation purposes, once they meet their 6 months, their 6 continuous months, they meet that state statute requirement. If you have any questions or if you want to if you want to know if one of your employees have met that requirement or not, again, feel free to contact us. Supervisor approval is required. As per policy, employees must submit their leave request 30 days in advance or as soon as practicable when not foreseeable. All absences must be submitted in PeopleSoft, and supervisors must review and provide a determination within 5 working days. Sick leave may be used for any medical condition, so that may prevent the employee from performing their work duties. So sick leave can be used for either yourself, or it can be used for an immediate family member as well. Now, if it's going to be used for an immediate family member, it can be used for an immediate family member that resides in your same household, and it can also be used for an immediate family member that does not reside in the same household, yet the definition changes at that point. And the time is limited only to the time that you need to care for that individual, such as I need to take him to an appointment, or I need to, you know, specifically only for the time that you need to take that time off. Medical documentation is required after 3 days of absence, and the supervisor must refer the employee to HR for possible FMLA. So your supervisor or you as a supervisor, you may request a doctor's excuse when an employee takes or requests a medical leave of absence of 3 days, and you should refer them to HR for possible FMLA. That way we can review the case and determine the eligibility. We should also, before we move on to FMLA and sick leave pool, we should point out that vacation and sick leave are accrued on a monthly basis. So we accrue sick leave and vacation on the first of every month. Sick leave will always remain constant. By that, I mean, it's always going to be 8 hours. If you're a full-time employee, it's always going to be 8 hours every month. And your vacation, that will increase depending on your state service. You can find a table in our vacation leave policy. On the second page, there's a table there that shows you, depending on how many years of state service you have, it shows you how many vacation hours you accrue. For FMLA is, as we mentioned, for employees that need to be out on medical leave when it's 3 days or more. The FMLA may be requested for oneself or for an immediate family member as well. What FMLA does is it provides job security and job protection for up to 12 weeks. And it ensures that you as the employee is restored to their same job, the same title, basically an equivalent job and equivalent pay, Please note that FMLA itself is unpaid. I like when employees reach out, I like to tell them, think of it, as an umbrella. Again, it provides you that job security, job protection, but it's not giving you paid leave. You're still using your own sick leave. You're using your own vacation. And if you happen to exhaust your sick leave and vacation, then the FMLA becomes unpaid, during the time that you're out. Employees that do exhaust their sick leave and vacation are recommended, of course, to apply to our sick leave pool, which I'll give you some information right now. If they're not eligible for sick leave pool, then yes, again, like I said, the FMLA will remain as unpaid. So the sick leave pool, it's a policy that provides paid sick leave to eligible employees. Sick leave pool is used when all paid leave has been exhausted, all sick leave, all vacation, and if you have comp times, then everything needs to have been exhausted. Same as FMLA, the sick leave pool can be requested for either yourself or for an immediate family member. To be eligible for the sick leave pool, it must be for a catastrophic illness or injury. So for FMLA, typically it's for a serious health condition. Now the sick leave pool, it changes the criteria and it limits it and makes it a little bit more strict as to the reasons that you can apply for it. Now note that the FMLA and the sick leave pool are two separate processes. So if you're interested in applying for both, again, there are two separate processes, which we will need separate documentation for each. So now for some guidance on leave of absence requests. So as per policy, all leave requests must be requested to your supervisor for review and determination. So sick leave must be requested at the earliest possible time on or before the first day of absence. Meaning the moment you find out that you need to take a medical leave of absence, you submit that request, make that request to your supervisor. That way they can have more than enough time, to review and make a determination. Again, as per policy, vacation leave must be requested at least 30 days in advance. This will allow your supervisor, to review and make a determination based on operational needs. When advance notice is not possible, the employee must provide notice as soon as practicable. And lastly, and importantly, all leave requests need to be submitted in PeopleSoft. So if you're out, if you take a leave of absence, you need to put that in PeopleSoft. PeopleSoft is our time tracking system that we have. So everything needs to be reported in there. Now for some information on the 4-hour rule. The 4-hour rule, it's applicable to exempt staff only. So all partial absences for 3.75 or less will need to be reported as 4-hour rule in PeopleSoft. So if an employee who's an exempt staff, takes an absence, requests a leave of absence that is going to result in 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, that absence, when they report it in PeopleSoft, will need to be reported as a 4-hour rule. Leave of absences taken under the 4-hour rule will not be deducted from the sick leave and vacation balance. Now, sick and vacation leave policies apply the same to 4-hour rule leave requests. Okay. Again, they're not a separate entity. They're still the same. It's a leave of absence request. You're still making your leave request to your supervisor. And again, it follows the same sick leave and vacation policies. And the only difference, again, for exempt employees, if it falls under 3.75 or less, it's the reporting method, how you have to report it differently in PeopleSoft. But everything else, all policies apply the same, such as sick leave and vacation. And here's some additional resources. We do have the Supervisor Excellence Series training. We encourage all supervisors to enroll. We can also, departments can also request trainings by sending an email to HR partners. We can give you guys a training. And we also encourage everyone to get familiarized with our HOP policies. It provides a lot of information. Do we have any questions?
We had some questions in the chat, Ernie. So there's Miriam. So Miriam has a question. Can an employee take sick leave if they're still in the probationary period, if they have a doctor's appointment or are sick and need to be out?
Sick leave can be used the moment the employee gets hired. You get hired, the employee starts on their first day, and again, you accrue sick leave, you accrue vacation. Vacation cannot be used until you complete 6 months of state service. Sick leave, again, based on policies, you need to submit that request, and it's up to your supervisor. But yeah,
Right.
sick leave can be used.
And I just like to make a note too, I mean, Ernie's covering just kind of the main leave types, but we have a lot of different leave types that we have here at the university. So I would encourage, just kind of everybody to go out there and look at our policies just to see what kind of policy or what kind of leave types are available that might be applicable to you, depending on your situation, right? But if you have questions about maybe what policies and maybe which one you fall under, if there's, we have military leave, we have leave without pay, the sick leave. And so there's just a few different ones, but if you all have questions on them, please don't hesitate to get with us and then we can talk it out with you all also. We also have a question from Cheryl. Who is considered immediate family? Grandparents, grandchildren also?
So it will depend, like I mentioned, on the as per and our sick leave, again, our sick leave policy will have that information, that definition. So it depends if the family member lives in your household or they do not live in your household. So if they do not live in your household, the definition, it's limited to only your parents and son and daughter, basically your children and spouse.
So I pulled up the definition. So an immediate family member that we have in our policy is defined as those individuals who live in the same household as the employee and are related by kinship, adoption, or marriage, or are foster children certified by the Texas Department of Child Protective and Regulatory Services, and an employee's minor child, regardless of whether the child lives in the same household. See, I think I lost count here. Who
Yeah, I think there was there's one on the parent teacher conference. So I think Oliver Lozano answered. So yes, so the parent teacher conference, as per policy and state law, it allows employees to use 8 hours from your sick leave for parent teacher conference reasons. If you have a child in pre-K to the 12th grade. Now this is per fiscal year. 8 hours can be used from your sick leave per fiscal year. No, they were not removed from the sick leave. It's just so that you can see that, again, per fiscal year, you only have 8 hours available. If you don't use them, again, they will remain there in your sick leave balance. They will not be touched. If you use parent teacher conference, then yes, your sick leave balance will be reduced. But yeah, it's just to make it more visible in PeopleSoft, the parent-teacher entitlement that you have.
Hi, Aubrey, is there any way that you can share the HOP, what you just read in the chat?
Yeah, let me do that. I'll put that in the chat. This is the
Thank
one
you.
specifically for sick leave.
Yeah, and it
So-
should be the 6 ADM 04603.
Did we miss any other questions? Oh, there was a 4-hour rule question. It looked like, may I use a 4-hour rule with my regularly scheduled doctor's appointment?
Again, as if the absence for that day is 3.75 hours or less, it falls under the 4-hour rule criteria. Now, if you have recurring doctor appointments, it might be, it might be like something FMLA related, where you have, those recurring appointments. So we would recommend, for you to reach out so that we can review it, on a case-by-case basis.
Right. And then there's another one. Can you have 2 leave of absences using the 4-hour rule in the same week? Example, if you have a doctor's appointment the same week, you use vacation leave exempt. So I think we're just asking, can you use the 4-hour rule in 2 weeks or in 1 week? I think that's what the question is.
Yeah, and again, the 4-hour rule, again, the limit per day is the 3.75 hours, which is 3 hours and 45 minutes. So again, it still follows so in this case, if you're requesting vacation time off, it still follows the vacation leave policy. So you will need to submit that request to your supervisor for review and determination. If they approve it, and again, if your absence for those 2 days, on Monday, maybe you were out 2 hours, and then on Wednesday you were out 3 hours. Yeah, both events are going to be 4-hour rule because each event was less than 3.75.
On each of those days, yes. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I think Eller just had a question on the rollover transfer to sick leave. So right now it's a good time since we recently started the fiscal year. In PeopleSoft, that screenshot that you provided, Oliver, and I don't know if I'm logged into. No, I'm not logged in. But so as we know, we accrue sick leave and vacation, right, every month. And again, based on our state service, we accrue the different vacation hours per vacation balance every month. It also sets a limit to us as to how many hours we can carry over from one fiscal year to another. By that, I mean from 8/31 to 9/1. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say my limit is 100 hours, meaning that I can only take 100 hours from 8/31 to 9/1 to the next fiscal year. But I happen to have an 101 balance. So I'm 1 hour over. What's going to happen when 9/1 starts? I'm going to start with 100 hours because that's what I'm allowed to bring over to the new fiscal year. And that 1 hour extra, or any number of hours that are extra beyond my limit of what I'm allowed, will be transferred to your sick leave balance on 9/1. So your sick leave balance will grow by whatever amount was over your vacation limit. So like I said, this is a good time. We're still in October, so you have more than enough time to look at your balances, especially those employees that have a lot of state service and they're accruing a big number of hours every month. So that way you have more than enough time to plan ahead, get with your supervisor, request some vacation leave if you don't want to have that vacation be transferred to your sick leave when 9/1 comes around.
And we would encourage you all to do that, right? Just to look at your balances at the beginning of the year, because if you are accruing at a larger rate, at an increased rate, y'all put in the time here, y'all deserve to take the time off. And so plan ahead. And that's what the vacation is there for. Your annual leave is there for, to use it, and to take the time off. And so It's easier, you know, when you're looking at the start of the fiscal year than when you're getting into June and July and you realize that you have all these balances maybe that you haven't used for vacation. And so we would encourage you to start looking at that right now. And maybe just, even if it's just like a day here, getting with your supervisor and seeing if you can take some time off, maybe when it's not, I know every area is different, but maybe when it's not, so the peak isn't so high.
Alrighty, thank you. Is there any last minute questions before we move on? Alrighty, well, thank you so very much to Aubrey and her team for joining us today and giving us a good refresher on the types of leaves. And you shared your contact, right? For any presentations, things like that. Alrighty.
Yeah, I can put that in the chat, but no, thank you all for inviting us and giving us an opportunity. But if y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll go ahead and I'll put our emails in the chat so that way that y'all can have that also. Thank you for your time, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. To our next presenter, he is a fellowship trained foot and ankle surgeon, podiatric physician with more than 15 years of experience in various foot and ankle pathologies. He is certified by the American Board of Foot and Ankle Surgery for rear foot reconstructive ankle and foot surgery. He graduated from the University of California, San Diego in molecular biology and philosophy. He received his doctorate degree from Temple University School of Podiatric Medicine. Up next, we welcome the Associate Dean of Research at the School of Podiatric Medicine and clinician at UT Health Multi-Specialty Clinic, Dr. Nahiro Shibuya.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me share my screen. I got little things to share with everyone. Can you guys see the screen with the UT-RGB on it?
No, not yet.
No. Maybe I need to click on share button. Can you see that now?
Yes, we can.
All right, good. Well, thank you very much for your time. I'm very excited to share this with you because, as you probably know, that we started the School of Podiatric Medicine. This is a 4-year medical school that leads into residency program, fellowship programs to become a podiatric physician and surgeon. And I wanted to share with you that, if I can go to the next slide. We just started the actual clinical enterprise and service line, the podiatric medicine and surgery. So anything to do with the foot and ankle health services we provide. Can you still hear me? Am I just talking to myself or am I good?
Yes. Yeah, you're good.
All right, thanks. I just wanted to make sure. All right. So where are we located? We are in Harlingen, Texas. As you know, Harlingen is like the middle of the valley. And if you can see that, if you're not familiar with Harlingen, if you're from McAllen, Edinburgh area, this is in southeast corner of Harlingen. So there's health center in the southeast corner of the Harlingen with the Valley Baptist Medical Center and a VA healthcare center. So we are right next to it. So we are at the UT Health RGV Multi-Specialty Clinic. So we currently have 2 providers, Dr. Agwo and myself. Dr. Agwo was trained in the UT San Antonio, and she was practicing at the Central Texas VA healthcare system for the last 17 years. And then we both moved down to the Valley to start a school. And finally took about 1 year to start our service line. So what do we do? Again, we do anything in foot and ankle, including arthritis, acute trauma, including fractures and dislocations, you name it, we do it. We do a lot of deformity corrections, including bunions and more complex deformity procedures. We do diabetic foot care, including wounds, infection. There are a lot of them in this valley because of the population is very high prevalent in diabetes and gait abnormalities, any skin disorders from athlete's foot to ingrown toenails, and any sports medicine related foot and ankle problems. So here are a couple examples. I know the time is limited, but I wanted to show what we do. And if you have any problem, we're more than happy to help you. So this is the most common trauma in the front ankle is the ankle fracture. So what happens is that the ankle dislocates, and if you neglect it, patient is not be able to function the rest of his or her life. So we need to fix these problems. So you could actually intervene and try to put that in a position that functions, and then we put the hardware and we take care of it post-operatively. Another example, you don't have to go to medical school to know this is broken. So we fix it to put it back into the position. Sometimes, especially in the valley, what I've noticed is that a lot of the trauma is neglected. And if the trauma is neglected, that will lead into arthritis, such as this one. You could see no joint line in the ankle joint. So if that happens, obviously it is very painful. A lot of times the function is lost, becomes couch and bedridden. So we have to kind of intervene and replace the ankle joint or fuse the ankle joint so that the patient is able to go back to ambulation. This patient is another example of post-traumatic problem. This is from actually Central Texas, the very bad trauma in the left ankle that was left neglected. And you can see that the foot is going inward. So he's not able to work and walk very effectively. So I have to reconstruct it to make it nice and straighter. This is a pediatric, the borderline pediatric patient, 16, 18 years old. He's from other country, not from Mexico, but he's from actually Vietnam. They still have polio, so you have a severe deformity, very high arch foot. What's the problem with this is that the patient is not able to put the heel on the ground when they try to walk. So I have to reconstruct it to make it straighter so that the patient is able to put the heel and walk like any other college or high school students. We do the bread and butter stuff like the bunion deformities and hammer toe deformities. As you see, bunion is like a little bump in the inside of the foot. So you can see that big toe joint, and you have a little flare there. That's very painful. It's not just for cosmesis, but a lot of times it becomes very big and very painful. And if you notice it, if you look at the x-rays, it's actually angulation of these bones. So we actually have to not just to take the bump off, but we have to reconstruct it and make the bones straighter so that the patient is able to put in a nice, for females, nice, cute, pretty shoes. A lot of pediatric problems. When I started the clinic a month ago, and almost 50% of patients are now pediatrics because there are a lot of deformities. A lot of abnormality when they grow. They need to stay in the regular growth chart, but sometimes it deviates from it. So the pediatric patients end up having a lot of deformity. So this is a patient with the overlapping fifth toe. It is literally called overlapping fifth toe deformity. Loses balance and of course made fun of in school. So we could reconstruct that to make it straight. This is actually not from here. Actually, I did this in San Antonio when I was a fellow. A lot of flat feet grow out, so you don't have to intervene at all. But once in a while, those severe flat feet or rigid flat feet, they don't grow out. So we do reconstruct those as well. If you look at the right foot before and after, the before is top and after is on the bottom. So if you see the right foot, it's reconstructed, so it's much straighter, much more looking like any other friends in school. We do ingrown toenails, we do prosthetics management, biomechanical management, we do a lot of soft tissue tumors, and also wounds. So the diabetic wounds is very common in this area. Probably some of you have family members lost a leg because of the diabetic wounds. We take care of those, not just doing amputation, but we try to heal the wounds. If the patient needs an amputation like the one on the right, this is actually a traumatic wound, but if the patient needs the amputation, we take care of with the prosthesis. So we don't just do the surgery, but we actually take care after the surgery as well. So why UT Health? Why do you have to come to us? Well, you don't have to, but if you want to be treated with the board certified physicians and surgeons, this is very important. When I came here, it's kind of it's seemed like the Wild West sometimes. You want to make sure if you're a patient or your family member becomes a patient, you have to do good research online, make sure that the physician or surgeon is board certified. If they're certified, are they certified by, you know, legitimate certification process? You might want to check that, and UT Health provides certified physicians and surgeons. We do the cutting edge surgical procedures, which are normally available in big cities like Houston and Dallas, maybe not even in San Antonio. We do the cutting edge procedures. I'm currently editor-in-chief for the Journal of Clinical Surgery, so I hope I know a lot of current stuff. And still, we just started a month ago, so appointments available. Currently, we could still see patients within 1 week. So if you were, if you have any acute problems, just call the number so that we could see you. We could try to accommodate you within a week or so. If it's emergency, you know, even if you're overbooked, we'll still see you. And we do is patient-centered care. This is becoming more and more common in the rest of the world, and the Valley. I realized that there's not so much patient satisfaction scores or Press Ganey score where physicians and surgeons are actually evaluated by the patients. But this is becoming more important. Sometimes you do the best surgery you can, but if the patient is not happy, that's not good for us. So what we do is we actually introduce different options, treatment options, and we could have patients select the best option for them depending on their lifestyle, their social situation, home situation, what kind of assistance they can get at home. So we don't just look at the foot and x-rays, we actually take care of the patient as a whole. So if you're interested in our service, again, we are located in Harlingen, Texas. And for appointment, this is a service line. It's 95%. You could actually talk to the person when you call the person. So when you call the line. So you're always available. And again, we could accommodate you within the week. If it's anything emergent, then we'll try to see you in the same day or next day. Any questions? Do I have time to take questions or?
Yes, we have a couple questions in the chat.
Sure.
It says, do you treat plantar warts?
Of course, yes, we do. We do.
And then there's another question. It says, do you all see public patients, or do you only serve UTRGV employees / students?
Everyone, we actually take every insurance you can imagine in the Valley. Actually, we'd see more public patient than UTRGV faculty or students. I see UT faculty once in a while, but yeah, more public patients, yes.
Any other questions? Oh, let's see. Do you do diabetic routine checkup?
Yes, we do. So we check up and we stratify by risk factors, and we determine you know, if the patient needs to be seen every 3 months versus 1 year versus you know, you could just take care of it by yourself. So we'll do the checkup, the extensive checkup in the initial visit, and we're gonna go from there.
A next question we have is, do individuals need referrals? Can they schedule their appointment, or can they schedule their own appointment if they have concerns with issues?
So a lot of insurance, you could just call this number and then make appointments. Some insurance, though, you have to go through the PCP. So you might have to talk to the insurance company.
Okay. If you treat neuropathy as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So neuropathy, you know, depending on the type of neuropathy, some are unfortunately not reversible. So we do a pain control rather than try to fix the problem, which is, you know, today's medicine impossible. So we do, you know, more like a comfort care. Yes.
It says here, will you provide, or does the clinic provide language interpreter for deaf and hard of hearing patients?
That I think we do obviously Spanish and deaf and those patients. I'm not sure. Actually, I have to find out.
Okay,
I think when I fill, yeah, I have to get back to you on that one.
okay. It says here, do you do Achilles treatments?
Achilles tendon, yeah, that's a very common problem actually. Acute rupture or neglected rupture. It's been neglected for years. We do both. We do tendon transfers if nothing else is available. So all sorts of care in Achilles tendon, yes.
Alrighty. It says here, what is the youngest age to treat at the clinic, at the facility?
So far, we've been seeing 2 months old. So a lot of it's very small patients. They have a deformity, or even it's just normal growth, but patients are worried about it. So we actually try to fit the patient into the normal growth chart, and then make sure that the patient is in the right schedule.
Okay,
And a lot of that 2 years old, 3 years old, we see like a club foot or deformity that the feet are very inwards, because we have to intervene those kids very early to try to make it straight so that they don't suffer the rest of their lives.
it says here, and is it best to treat flat foot as early 3 years of age?
Yeah, so again, so statistically 90% of the flat foot and kids gonna grow out by itself. So the problem is people don't know which one's gonna grow out or which one doesn't grow out. But what we do is there are certain conditions that it doesn't grow out, and we also again fit into the chart and make sure that the patient is in the right schedule to grow out. If it doesn't, sometimes we have to intervene early. So probably you might want to leave it to us to find out, because you don't want to be too late in that condition. But again, statistically 90% is going to be fine.
Okay, there's another couple questions. It says here, what treatment will my school insurance cover in full? I think that might be more of a question for the
Is it
insurance.
UTRGV?
Yeah,
UTRGV is Blue Cross, isn't it?
yes. Blue
Yeah,
Cross.
so a lot of the Blue Cross patients so far, they don't need any pre-authorization. So a lot of times they just call this number and they just come in, and if they have an ingrown toenail or some injection needed on the same day, we could actually do that on the same day. I don't have to reappoint you. So we could take care of the one shot, one visit.
And then I think we already talked about the referrals. Do we need a referral from a primary care physician
Yeah,
to make an
depending on
appointment?
Yeah, depending on insurance, but a lot of the commercial insurance, they don't need to.
And then it says here, can you share to the audience on some foot self-care tips and what not to do?
For what age group or what kind of patient population, like in general?
Yes, just in general.
In general, there's nothing. If you're a healthy young person, you don't need too much. You just have to worry about overuse, tight shoes, or the neglected deformity you didn't know about. Because deformity correction is much easier when you're younger. When you get older, it gets harder and arthritis sets in, and you're going to need additional procedures. So just for most of the people, it's fine, but those are the kind of things you might want to look out for. And, if you just want to come in and, talk about type of shoes you want to wear, what you have to worry about when you go to the beach, that kind of stuff, we could also talk about those stuff too.
It says here, also, do you have a location in Brownsville or only in Harlingen?
At this point, Harlingen, and we are in the plan to expand everywhere in the valley. And I think the next place is actually Brownsville.
All right. Well, any other questions for Dr. Shibuya? All righty. Well, thank you so very much, Dr. Shibuya, for joining us today.
Well, thank you for the time.
Thank you. Alrighty, the next part of our agenda is going to be the committee reports. I will hand it over to the Communications Committee Chair, Mr. Jake Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. For the Communications Committee, first, can everyone hear me? Okay, great. For the Communications Committee, our updates are more geared towards the web as well as promoting events, but we'll start with web updates on the website for Staff Senate. We changed the homepage paragraph and removed Staff Senate Constitution results link that was on the homepage. We added a committees tab and an internal external subtabs. We replaced the placeholder images with the Staff Senate logo for Staff Senate members in place of their headshots. That's it for the web. For other reports, we have put together a Halloween costume contest for our staff at UTRGV. More info will be coming out of that very soon. So we're hopeful that we can go ahead and announce how to do so, how to enter the prizes, etc. By next week. But we just want to give all of our staff in the meeting right now an advance that we will have a costume contest as we did last year. And then, of course, we are in the process of promoting more events within UTRGV. For example, the Meet Your Senator, that's later this month. But we encourage other staff members in your departments, if you have any events that is geared towards staff or just the UTRGV community in general, we highly encourage you to either send us your flyer through social media on our Instagram, Facebook, or X account. And of course, through the Staff Senate email, if you have an upcoming event that you would like us to promote, please send it that way so we can review it and go ahead and post it on your behalf. And Madam President, that's for the Communications Committee updates. I will go ahead and hand it over to the, who's next? The Constitution and Elections Committee Chair, Yesenia Carter.
You're muted.
Hi, I'm so sorry, everybody. Hello, my name is Yesenia. I'm just going to update you on what we are doing with the Constitution and Elections Committee. Right now, we are in the process of drafting, we're not drafting, just editing Article 5, Section 1, which is the membership and eligibility, and then Article 6, the nominations and elections, and Section 1, the nominations procedures. I don't want to go too much into what we're changing until the next meeting. Once it's done, we still have to submit it to the HOP, get that approved. Also, we'll update the website as soon as we get it all approved. So if you all have any questions for me or the committee in regards to the Constitution, please feel free to reach out to us with any concerns or suggestions. But as far as my committee, that's all the updates I have for this meeting. I'm going to pass it over to the Business Processes and Staff Support Chair, Mr. Omar Nedzelski. Thank you.
Thank you, Yesenia. Good morning, everyone. I want to go ahead and pass it over to one of our co-chairs, Kelly Quinn, who will be assisting us with reporting our committee report.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Bear with me, I'm leaving my camera off so my Zoom doesn't crash because it doesn't want to cooperate this morning. So since our last meeting, we've received and reviewed 6 staff feedback submissions, and I'll go through each of those, outline what they are and what the process is from there. So the first submission we received is from a staff member in the College of Education, and they have several feedback discussion points. Their first is a concern about how frequently the feedback survey is shared with staff members. And the committee's recommendation is to make the link more accessible by sharing it during Staff Senate meetings and also through an upcoming email. So be on the lookout for that. And Omar just posted the survey link there in the chat. Their second concern is about the maintenance of the Bronx Trail. So we will provide this concern to campus facilities. Their third comment is about the golf cart traffic on the Bronx Trail and other campus walkways. And so the committee's recommendation is to create a post on UTRGV Messenger regarding the HOP policy that prohibits this. And Their last concern is regarding the UTRGV Police Department doing door safety checks. And so our recommendation to this person is to attend the provided CRACE training, which is offered by the police department. Okay, our next submission is from another staff member in the College of Education, and they also have a safety concern regarding golf cart traffic on the Bronx Trail. And so again, our recommendation is to create a post on Messenger that references the HOT policy that prohibits it to better inform our campus community. Our third submission was anonymous, and it is for a request of staff salary reviews due to inflation. And so the committee's recommendation is to share this request with HR compensation, and that'll be provided to them after this meeting. And number 4, it is from a staff member in the Office of Student Success. And their concern or their request is for more training for the use of DegreeWorks. And so the committee's recommendation is to share that request to the administrators who oversee DegreeWorks. And our next submission is from another staff member in Office of Student Success. And their request is for the installation of EV charging stations. And the committee will share this request with Parking and Transportation. And our last submission is from a staff member on the Harlingen campus, and their concern is about the limited amount of parking on campus and the safety of the staff entrance. And so we'll share the parking concern with Parking and Transportation and the staff entrance safety concern with campus facilities. And that's what we have.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for assisting with the committee report. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to the Staff Success Committee, Chair Oliver Lozano.
Hey, Omar, thank you very much. I guess for the rest of the staff that are here, I'm going to share with you a quick flyer that we're planning to do this coming up month. So if you have not received it, we're going to be doing Meet Your Staff Senator. I think, can everybody see it? Because I guess I can't see everybody's faces, but we're going to be doing some activities, which is very limited. So if you are going to be in one of these areas, the 5 areas, please make sure you get there on time. It's very limited. Harlingen will be using the simulation lab, if I'm not mistaken. It is called the Sim Hospital. They're in Harlingen. And the Thursday 26th will be in the 3 areas, McAllen, Edinburgh, Cess, and then Edinburgh here on our main campus, and Browns will be on Friday. So we hope y'all could just join us, meet our staff senators. We'll be taking pictures and these cool things, activities that the union kind of gave us the idea. Christina from the union gave us awesome ideas so you can take back to your desk or to your office. So we look forward to seeing everybody out there on these 3 days for Meet Your Staff Senator. And that's the end of my report. Turn it back to somebody, right? Sorry.
No worries. Thank you.
Madam President.
I think that's it for the committee reports. We will open up the floor now for public comments and questions.
I do want to share real quick, Ms. Kelly. We do have a kind of like a donate area for Staff Senate. If you're not aware, we do have a QR code, so you could donate for Staff Senate. So I know this semester we're using some of the funds to have the activity we're going to have this month coming up for Meet Your Staff Senator with the little activities. Next semester we're going to be doing the Staff Appreciation Week as well. So we want to get some things to kind of give back to our staff. So be aware there is a QR code that we do have, so you can donate for Staff Senate. I don't know if somebody has it on their desktop or not. I do not have it with me, I'm sorry. But we'll also get this information during a Meet Your Staff Senator. We'll have the QR code there, and we'll have the QR code for our feedback committee as well when you meet us during that week of Meet Your Staff Senator. So just be advised that whatever you do donate, it goes back to you all staff. And I know we have a lot of staff in a lot of the areas, and growing, I believe, through Laredo. One of our staff senators, the assistant chief, kind of told us that we're expanding over there slowly. So Oh, there we go. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, no problem. Do we have any other comments, questions, updates, or announcements? It's pretty quiet out there.
Carlos Munoz just shared on the chat. Join us for Frankenstein. I believe that is the arts.
Yeah, so we're going to show the entire 1931 film on screen, and we're super excited to have a live orchestra. So if you click on that link, you can see a rehearsal that we did yesterday. The ad is running on Instagram and social media, and yeah, it's pretty fun. The kids are enjoying to perform, and you can watch a scary movie. So there you go.
Anna has a question. Will that flyer to meet Staff Senate be sent out in an email? We could definitely share it out. I'll get together with the committee and distribute it to all staff. Any other questions, public comments? Thank you, Julia. Alrighty, if there aren't any public comments or questions, we will now move to make a motion to adjourn.
I second the motion.
I would need a motion. I would need somebody to make the motion.
A motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second. Thank you, Madam President.
Is there any debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? All those in favor, please state aye in the Zoom chat. Alrighty. The motion passes. Thank you so very much for everyone joining us today.
All right, and we will call this meeting adjourned at 10:15 a.m. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.